Cheers, boys.
Your boy's not drinking this week.
Oh.
On a happy hour. I had a 21st birthday celebration for my friend last night, and then tomorrow night we're going like fully out for it. So I'm not trying to complete the full bender here. I need to take a day off. I need to take a day off.
That's rational. That's responsible.
Yeah, because I already yesterday drank a whole lot, and then tomorrow it's even going to be worse. So I'm not. I'm drinking Diet Dew tonight.
What's your mind at Sean's age, and you just can't anymore? Like for example, I've got my bourbon here, and I already have a Gatorade.
Yeah, I have backup Coke right here. So, yeah.
Nah, I easily can, but I'm not trying to weigh 400 pounds drinking every day. So
yeah,
today was more of a recovery day.
There you go. Well. What's up, everybody? Welcome to NBA Happy Hour here at part of the Riverfront Media Network. Yes, we are recording during Game 5, which at the time of opening, Luka Doncic has 20, the Mavericks 30 points, and they're up 12 on the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we will be checking through that if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. So how's it going? Thanks for hanging out. But I'm Tim Daniel. Joining me as always, Sean Mackey and Parker Fields. And we're gonna do a classic NBA show today. We're gonna do our usual, talking our current stuff. We're going to have a fun flashback that I can't wait to get into. And we're going to have a starting five again this week. So we're doing the whole shebang this week. We're doing it the right way. We've kind of been on and off with the whole thing just because of the playoffs, but we're kind of winding down with the playoffs enough to kind of have a full regular episode like we normally do. So let's get into it, gents. Let's start with right now that these two teams are battling for a chance to play the Celtics. So I want to talk about the Celtics and their run to the finals for the second time now in 3 years. Obviously, we know where this all starts. That's with number 0 and number 7. Number 7 finally getting his credit for how good he is, getting his finals MVP, getting his Eastern Conference championship MVP. I'm super stoked for Jaylen Brown. And this is a Celtics team that I think both points people make about them are true. They play Miami, no Butler. They play Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell goes down the middle of the series. They play Indiana, Halliburton misses the last 2 games. That is true. They were also by far and about the best team in the East. That's also true. So I think that either of these teams, it's looking more and more like it's going to be Dallas, can give Boston a series, but I don't think either of them can beat Boston 4 times.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think either way, it's probably will be Celtics in 6. I would probably pick Celtics in 6 either matchup, honestly. I just think if Porzingis is healthy, especially, I just think there's too much. There's going to be some clunker game, probably game 1 or game 2, where the Celtics play like shit and lose by 20. It's probably going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Because, if the Pacers were better, if they closed, they should have won game 1, so easily. And they should have won game 3 and 4. Seriously.
For sure.
They're vulnerable for sure. But I just think overall when the Celtics are on, it's not even close between them and the next best team in the league.
Go ahead, Sean.
Well, thinking about this, kind of jumping ahead, but let's say that, if we were going to call it right now, the Mavericks end up making it. No one's ever come back from a 3-0 deficit before. It's never happened. So we're looking at Dallas. What does this do for the legacy of a player like Luka Doncic if they are able to topple the Celtics? And what does it do to the Celtics? If they end up losing in the finals to, if Luka just goes absolutely insane and somehow is able to topple this considerably better team, what are the ramifications of that? I've been thinking about that all week.
I've been thinking about that all week, though, too. If the Celtics don't win I think the Celtics avoiding the Nuggets, they have no excuse. If they would have lost the Nuggets, I don't think there's any people would be disappointed, Celtics fans, but I don't think it's that big of a shocker. I think you just run it back, though. I mean, this team's good as hell. Run it back. But it's just I agree. At that point, it's are Tatum and Brown ever gonna win the title?
Right.
This 7 Eastern Conference Finals or 5 Eastern Conference Finals in 7 years as teammates. Brown's gone to 6 of 8 years he's been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
amazing.
didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, man, I think if at that point, I think the conversation who's the best player in the world probably ends.
Yeah, I'd say Luke is the best player in the world if they win.
Yeah. And so I think that's where that goes. But I think too, then you got to give Jason Kidd his credit. I would be the first to eat crow. When he left Milwaukee, I thought he was a terrible head coach. I legitimately, like, when they fired him, I was like, he should not get another coaching job. And I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I don't mind saying I was wrong. He's been tremendous there. I mean, first off, the players really like playing for him. You can tell. The way that he's made Kyrie likable again is mind blowing.
Yep.
And obviously, it doesn't hurt to have Luka Doncic, but he had Giannis in Milwaukee and couldn't win. So he obviously made some sort of changes. Maybe those couple years in LA did something where he kind of learned a little bit more about game planning, but he's been great.
But also he has two, ball handling guards on the team, which is what he was. Like, if you're gonna play for a guy who's been there and done it all and won a championship and everything, I feel like Jason Kidd is like, he's a great candidate for somebody you'd want to play for somebody,
sure.
because I mean, he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. Like, in his prime was just unbelievable. Like, the run that he had with the Nets was just insane. So, I get it. It makes more sense to me than what he was doing in Milwaukee. And I feel like these guys have just bought in more with him.
Yeah, I think probably having a lot of time around an actual former head coach probably did a lot for him too. Because if you remember, when he got the Nets head coaching job, he was playing for the Knicks the year before.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was an assistant somewhere or he went and did media. It was straight from on the court to coaching. So I think maybe kind of having this time where after he leaves Milwaukee, he takes a year off. Then he goes and joins Frank Vogel's staff. He's around LeBron and AD and Rondo for a year, kind of learning how to make those guys, like learning what makes those guys work, on top of already being an insanely high IQ basketball player. Then goes to Dallas. I think this was the road I think this is great the way it worked out. I just don't see, because I think you're absolutely right. I don't see a situation where Minnesota comes back from 3-0. I think this could end up being a good thing for them though, because you're going to have this here. And then Anthony Edwards is going to be on the Olympic team this summer playing with all these guys who have won. He's going to be able to talk about these guys, how they overcome, because all those guys had to overcome it, right?
Yeah.
At some point or another, all those guys that he's going to be teammates with went through this. Whether it was Curry before Steve Kerr, or it was LeBron playing the Magic and the Celtics, or it was Kevin Durant beating up 3-1 on the Warriors. He's going to have all those guys to kind of be like, how did you guys overcome it all? So I think this
also,
he's
22. These things, like the
exactly.
Kevin Durant you talk about, Kevin Durant was like 28 when that happened, or 27 when he lost to the Warriors.
Yeah, I think LeBron was 22 when they lost to the Spurs.
Yeah, he was 22. He was the same age as Edwards.
Yeah. Sydney asked, does Minnesota trade Cat? This is a conversation that's come up quite a bit this week in the NBA media world. What do you guys think?
It depends for who. Like, are we saying, do we think it's going to happen, or should they? Is that like which one?
She said, do they? So I think she's asking if it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen, no. And I think also, like, if they were to trade Cat, it's like, I would want another star back. Like, I wouldn't just want to trade Cat for, like, role players, because, like, you do need 2 stars in this league. You need 2.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And I don't think Rudy Gobert is a star. So I think.
But is he a future Hall of Famer?
Yeah, he is in basketball.
All right.
Still,
in basketball.
In basketball. In other sports, no. Like, with their criteria, no. But in basketball, yes. So, like, I don't think there's a market, though, that you could bring back a star for Cat, unless, like, Julius Randle, maybe. But, like, what does that help either team with, honestly?
No.
Yeah, you can't get a Clippers sign and trade where you get Paul George. And I don't know if Paul George might want to play there, actually, just because they play defense. But
yeah. And, like, Cat and, like, the Cat whole Julius Randle thing, that's what I've seen. And it's like, Cat doesn't fit the Knicks, like, culture, really. And then also, it doesn't make sense for the Timberwolves, though, because I think Cat's a little bit better of a player. So it's like it doesn't really add up like why you would do that move either team.
Yeah, and I think too, the defensive portion of Minnesota, that's such a big thing for them. And Cat is not a very good defender, but team defender, he did really well this year in
Yeah, he has
stretches.
been. He played
Um,
guard Jokic really well in that game 7. He really did. Like
yeah, he
Jokic was
really
getting
did.
his, but he was making everything tough and was taking away passing angles and stuff from Jokic.
City says Cat for wigs. I joked the other day. You guys might laugh at this. I was talking to my wife's family about the Cavs and like their off season, and I was just kind of making conversation about what they could get to get better because I think they're in a decent situation. I was like, man, like, wouldn't Andrew Wiggins be awesome for the Cavs? And they just looked at me. And I was like, what? Totally slipped my mind. Totally slipped my mind. I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They drafted him.
Yeah.
I always forget that he like was on the team with LeBron at a point, like for a little tiny stretch before they trade for Kevin Love.
His rookie card is in a Cavs jersey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't immediate. The trade happened a little bit later.
like 2 or 3 weeks after.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has that summer league game where he knows he's traded to Minnesota, but he can't say anything yet, and he's so pissed off, and he just destroys everybody.
I didn't even know he played summer league in the Cavs uniform.
Yep.
Played for the Cavs in summer league. That's crazy.
Yeah, because when LeBron had his announcement in Sports Illustrated with Lee Jenkins, he talks about Kyrie, he talks about all these other guys, never once mentions Andrew Wiggins. So, yeah, there was kind of something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that would probably be weird. I'm starting to think more and more they're not going to trade Garland, but that's a conversation for another time. This is about the Celtics and who they might be playing in the finals. And I think that Boston is probably just, like you said, Parker, Indiana probably should have won
3 of the
multiple
4
of those-
games.
Yeah. I think you could have made the case that with Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland probably wins at least 2 more games in that series.
2 more? You think it goes 7?
Yeah, because game 4, they were awesome and they just didn't have enough.
Yeah, I still think it would have ended in 6. I think they would have won 1 more. I don't know about 7.
I think they could have gone 7. If you get 1 more game in Cleveland after that, like that changes a lot. That place, there's a little bit of a different environment for playing the playoffs there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I don't think Miami with Butler really gives them a battle, but it doesn't help that. I don't know. Maybe they do because it's Jimmy Butler in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's randomly Luka levels of basketball. Like he's a top 3 player for some reason when the playoffs start.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, this is kind of funny. So that's gonna be the storyline everyone's gonna talk about, right? Porzingis playing the Mavericks and Kyrie playing the Celtics. That's gonna be the conversation that pops up a lot. Do you think Kyrie's gonna be like burning sage in Boston Garden again, walking around and?
Ooh.
I don't think he will be, but you never know. We'll see.
Yeah. But we'll kind of once we have for sure, we'll probably we'll try to do happy hour early next week, just because the finals I think start on Thursday if it's the game plan. So we'll keep an eye out this once the matchup's done, and we'll keep everyone posted.
Yeah, that's why I want this series to be extended, honestly, just because like I don't want to wait another week without the NBA. Like seriously, that sucks.
Yeah, it
It could have
does.
been 9 days if the Timberwolves didn't win the other night. It would have been 9 days with no basketball.
That's
Just
too
so
many
bad.
days.
That's such bad scheduling.
Well, and you know, I don't know. How do you guys feel about the rating situation for the finals this year? Like who's tuning in?
Us.
I mean, it'll do good ratings though because the Celtics are in it. Their fan
Celtics
base
are
is
in it.
huge.
Yeah. So they have a huge fan base, but like Celtics and Mavericks, man. I mean,
I know. I don't know if we'll get LeBron era finals review like ratings again until Wembanyama hopefully plays in a finals.
oh yeah.
I don't know if we touch that until then.
I
think
agree.
I think Ant will put up some big numbers eventually. Like
That's
I think
true.
eventually he'll be
People.
like,
Yeah, I think his legend will grow over.
I agree.
Over the Olympics this year, and I think next season, this is definitely going to be a bump in the road situation to greater things for him.
Yeah, and it's not even close. Like he's the face of USA basketball.
Yeah,
moving
yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
For sure. It could have been Devin Booker, but he got passed up.
Yeah. Still very good, but
yeah. Sydney says next year for Victor. I will say that I'm pretty sure a lot of players are going to be very interested in seeing if the Spurs have a spot for them on their roster next year.
Yep.
Especially
And one of
point
them,
guards.
one of them might be Chris Paul.
You think Chris Paul at 40? You don't think he's gonna want to go to like somewhere where he thinks he can win?
Well, I keep seeing that he's linked to going back to the Clippers, and I don't know if he wants to do that because he's injury prone, Kawhi's injury prone, Paul George's injury prone.
They're all in their mid-30s.
Yeah,
Chris
Harden's not
Paul's
necessarily.
late 30s.
I wouldn't say Harden's injury prone, but I also wouldn't say I like get really excited about winning games with him. And Westbrook's certainly not injury prone, but what's the point of having both those guys at this point?
They're just in their mid to late 30s, all of them.
Yeah.
I guess
exactly.
George. Well, no, Kawhi's still. I think he's 32. So Kawhi is, even though he seems the oldest, he's not like that old. But his body's like 40. Even though he's only in his early 30s, his body's
at
40.
least.
Right. Yeah. He's going to Planet Fitness and get on the massage chair. Like,
think he's a black card member?
yeah.
Hey, I got the game on over here. Big Cat is cooking right now. They're still getting killed, but he's possessions.
They're down 19. He's cooking.
Hey, I still think this game will be within 10 by the time.
It will.
Yeah,
It always
I think it'll
is.
get close. Yeah.
Look at City's comment. If Chris Paul goes back to LA, DeAndre needs to go back too. Just bring them all back, man.
Yeah.
See what,
Blake unretires.
Jamal Crawford unretires. Just do it again. But then they'll be playing against JJ Redick because he'll be coaching the Lakers.
Did you see the report that said like Chris Haynes said I'll be extremely shocked if he isn't the coach? Like he's been recruiting assistants, and did you see Rondo might be one of his top assistants or something?
Oh my god, that's gonna be awesome.
I know, dude. It's gonna be really fun for like 2 or 3 years. People are gonna want to play for him.
I'm crazy to think. I kind of think the Lakers might be awesome next year, like a lot better in the regular season. Like I think they won't be a 7 seed again, like fighting their life for the playoffs again.
This is what Sean and I talked about last week. Is that I think because players are gonna want to play for JJ Redick.
Yeah.
So when he gets that job, at this point, because I know a lot of people are gonna bring up the whole Bronny thing. Bronny's gonna be playing in South Bay. Like, let's calm down. This isn't Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. Like he's gonna be in the G League, kind of getting his stuff together. But
at least next year for sure. Yeah.
But people are going to want to play for JJ Redick, and that's gonna bring in. Look, if you're like a shooter who has like a 36, 37 career clip and you want to get that over 40, 42%, who better to be your coach, right? I mean, besides Kyle Korver, but maybe Kyle Korver will be on the staff. Who knows?
That's his friend, so maybe.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Is he gonna still have the old man in the 3?
I hope so. Keep mind the game. Keep them all. Still do your thing.
No, because he's still awesome as a podcaster. So that's going to be a big loss in like the podcasting world if he does. But I would hope he would still like podcast and stuff.
And you're the head coach of the Lakers. Let's be honest. You have like 2 years to figure it out. So keep your day job just in case, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, it won't be on ESPN obviously anymore, but
yeah. So speaking of coaches, Ty Lue signs his extension with the Clippers today. I said the Cavs, man. No, but I do think Kenny Atkinson's going to be a good hire for them. I really do. I'll get to that later. But I don't blame Ty Lue for this because I think that we all knew Steve Ballmer in no way, shape, or form was going to let him interview for the Lakers job and was not going to trade him over there. There's just no way he was going to let that happen.
No, too much pride.
Yeah, for sure. Like he, opening this new arena. He doesn't want to compete. He doesn't want to share a building with them anymore. Obviously, I'm gonna maybe say something here that may be a little hot takey.
Go for it.
I do think he's a very good coach. I mean, what he did to win that title and how he managed all those egos and then does it again here is great. Like not many guys could do that. I thought he was terrible in the playoffs this year. I thought he really coached him out of a couple games. His rotation decision making, I didn't think he did a good job. And so, do I think that's who he is? No. I think that if he had a team that was in a spot to be a championship contender, And I know someone's going to be like, well, the Clippers have this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. They're the Clippers. All right. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. And two,
And
yeah.
their retirement home.
Right. Yeah. They're maybe the oldest team in the league now. Who's the young guy that plays for them now? Man? Is that the only young guy that plays for them?
Man's not even that young, though. He's like
Right.
28.
Yeah.
Man was like 24 when he came in the league. Like, Man's not super young.
Brandon Boston's on the roster, but he doesn't
Yeah, I
get
guess
minutes.
PJ Boston.
Yeah. It's like so
Jay Scrubb still there?
I remember when Jay Scrubb was going to go to Louisville, and everyone thought he was going to be the dude. That remember? Do you guys remember when Romeo Langford was with Louisville, and then everything happened?
Oh
And
yeah.
Louisville thought they had him in the bag for about 3 years. They probably did have him for about 3 years, and then everything happened. City brings up Bones.
Hey, still though, shout out Jay Scrubb because he still did the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Getting drafted from a JUCO is absurd.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Sean Kemp and Jay Scrubb. That's it.
Yeah.
And Sean Kemp's was because I think he got in some legal trouble, so he like lost all his D1 scholarships, if I remember correctly. I might have that wrong. Sydney asked, is Jason Preston still in the Clips? I think he actually did get cut. He was somewhere in the G League.
He was
Might have
somewhere in the G League. Scrubb apparently is on the Celtics G League team. Preston is. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, I saw him playing at the end of the year. He was playing for the Jazz at the end of the season.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I don't blame the Clippers for trying to keep it together. I just don't know how they're going to get better than where they're at because they're so strapped now with those guys. And obviously, they're saying that they're going to make sure they sign Harden and Paul George back. And obviously we knew that's the game plan. I kind of want Paul George to leave, not just because I hate the Clippers, but because we need something to talk about for 3 or 4 months because free agency is not a thing anymore. And I know LeBron's technically going to be unrestricted.
He's going to be on the Lakers.
Yeah, he's
especially if they hire his podcast partner as his head coach.
Right.
Why are you going to leave? Like, you still have a chance to win another title. You're going to be you still have Anthony Davis on your team. You're going to be good. It's just like, what else is greener? Do you want to go play with Embiid, who's more injury prone than Anthony Davis? Like,
right.
Serious, like that's my big thing. It's like
LeBron's not leaving LA. It's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
The weather, his family likes it there. He's not leaving.
I think this season, if he'll be there. But if he plays this season, that'll be the longest tenure he's ever been with a team. Like in one run.
Crazy.
7. I think he was 7 years his first
7 years his first Cleveland run. Yeah.
And then this will be his 7th year with the Lakers too.
That is weird.
And Anthony Davis is his longest co-partner teammate now too.
Yeah.
This was year 5 with them.
Yeah, besides Anderson Varejao.
Yeah, my his co-star. Between Wade, Kyrie,
I mean,
all them.
Anderson Varejao is the GOAT. GOAT flopper. He's the greatest flopper.
GOAT flopper.
Yeah.
My least favorite player of all time is Anderson Varejao. It's not even close.
Anderson Varejao. What a random guy to hate.
Oh, dude, those flops. I was screaming at the television. I'm like, this guy's a clown. Get him off the floor. He's got sideshow bob hair. Get him out.
Oh, he does. Shout out Simpsons, best show of all time. That's my favorite show ever. But
that just made me like you even more. Actually.
I know.
Seriously?
I know.
Yeah.
You guys are Simpsons fans?
Of
Duh.
course.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
we're in
my
our late
favorite.
30s / early 40s. Yeah,
Dude, I remember watching the very first episode of that when it aired, Parker, in '89. I swear to you.
It was on the I'll pull something out. You're gonna be shocked. I knew it was on the Tracy Altman show before it was even its own show. It was on the Tracy Altman show.
Yeah.
No, that's my favorite show of all time. I've seen literally probably every episode. Besides the last couple seasons, I don't watch every episode that comes out. But
You're
all
an
the
old
episodes.
You're an old soul, man.
Yeah, no. Simpsons. Well, it's just my dad and my uncle love the Simpsons. So just
season 1 through 10 are goated. There's nothing like them.
Nothing like it.
Season 4, man. That's my
God,
my favorite season.
That's the peak. Yeah,
that's the peak for
you
me.
Got Camp Krusty's on that season. The monorail.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great episodes.
So good.
Show.
The softball episode's still my favorite episode.
Oh,
yeah,
so good.
That's such a good episode. We might become a Simpsons podcast.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Forget basketball. Let's talk The Simpsons. Do you guys want to talk about the Bronny thing, or do you just want to move on and talk about something else?
Do you want to like bring up anybody that like impressed you, like at the combine or anything, like stuff that was shocking? I mean, Reed Shepherd having the highest vertical was kind of shocking. Like we knew he was athletic.
I read that.
Yeah, because Bronny was 4th, and I think Trenton Flowers, my guy, was 5th.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so I will say this: I thought his combine was fine. I was blown away by his pro day footage. I thought his pro day footage, he looked great.
I did too.
This shot looked clean. The mechanics were there. The way he moved, like on screens and stuff.
I think he is going to be an NBA player, like a rotational player in the NBA. Like I really do.
I would bet on him. I don't think that he is, and I don't think he is a starting 5 point guard on a championship team. But
No.
do I think he can be the
Davion Mitchell?
Yeah,
I think he can
for
be
sure.
Davion Mitchell.
He can be Davion Mitchell.
Also, people are forgetting like he was a 5-star recruit and was projected to be a top 10 pick, and then he had a heart
cardiac
failure.
arrest. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what like I was like. People are acting like he shouldn't even be invited to the. I was like, okay,
I know.
He was a top 20 recruit in high school.
I had a family member who legit told me he would not start in the Horizon League.
That is crazy.
He would be the Horizon League Player of the Year, and it would not be close.
Easily.
Yeah. Sean's like, I'm at those games.
Yeah,
I've seen him.
Yeah. The only one like Marquez Warwick would be it's the closest thing to an NBA player they've had in a few years since Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah, because he'll be
Patrick Baldwin, but
but he shouldn't even count. He just
barely
went there
played.
because his dad, and he just went there because his dad was there.
Yeah, he did the Kyrie route of college, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would bet on him, man. I think he's going to play. I think, like I said, next year, I do think he'll end up with the Lakers. At that, if he's not taken by 55. And it's not like some sort of nepotism thing that everyone's going to take it as, and I know they will. But I think he does a year in South Bay with the G League, kind of gets more consistent with his shooting. I definitely think he could be a good NBA player. I agree.
Do.
Yeah. I'm not betting on him to be a star. I think Bryce could end up being better than him, but I think that he definitely deserves a shot for far more than the reason just who his dad is.
Like they always say, Bryce puts up the most impressive 8 points in a highlight reel you've ever seen. It's the flashiest 8 points you'll ever see.
Yeah, I know, man. But I hope the kid does well, mainly because of all the hate he gets now. So I'm gonna go ahead and point this out before we move on. You guys can add this if you want. If you're rooting for this kid, a 19-year-old kid to fail because you don't like their dad, you're a loser. And you need to reevaluate your life. Like,
yeah, especially if you're over the age of 19, then you're a loser.
And that's how old all of them are on there. Like
nobody's like 17. It'll be Bronny. Nobody's saying
it's gonna be, and it's always a comment from some dude who has no followers and is following like
his Twitter picture is the egg.
And he's like Bronny's ass, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
dude, you're 48. What?
Yeah, right, exactly. Mow your lawn and sit down.
Yeah, I thought he looked great as pro day, man. I hope the best for that kid.
Also, right, Bulls news I forgot to mention: Zach LaVine hanging out with LeBron and
AD. Shut up, Parker. He can go hang out with Paolo and Franz, all right? Like,
I don't want him on the Lakers. I really don't. But
no, you can't pay him.
You have no money to pay him.
Yeah,
none.
If you sign LeBron to this max, you're going to sign him too. And I don't think Cleveland wants him either.
I don't think anybody wants him. I don't think the Bulls want him. I don't think the Magic want him. I don't think anybody wants him. I know Tom Thibodeau doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't want his ass.
If I were Cleveland, if I were Orlando, I would call about Isaac Okoro. I would for sure see if I could Isaac Okoro. How well he shot last year and how good of a defender he is, he would be excellent with them.
Excellent. Right.
Yeah.
Right. A good one.
Sidney says, when is Lonzo coming back? If you ask Sean, never. But reports are he will be ready for opening night because he got a transplanted meniscus. I've never heard of this before.
Who donated?
Yeah.
Was it a fan? Like, I want to see him back on the
podcast.
Floor.
I love your new podcast. Here's my hamstring.
Who donated their meniscus? I saw that too. Yeah, what? I didn't think you could do that. Did you guys know that?
he's just going to ruin another one. I mean, the guy couldn't walk up steps 8 months ago. How's he going to play basketball in a few months? Come on.
I want him to be good, man. I want him to be
I
able to play
do
basketball
too!
again. I
do
really
too.
do.
We
Because
thought
that like that 2 months of Bulls basketball was the most fun.
Was it 2 months or 2 weeks?
It was 2 months.
It felt like 2 weeks.
Because he got hurt around the first of the year.
Okay.
So October through December was really fun. It was the most fun we had since Derrick Rose.
They could have been something. Yeah, that opening game, I remember I watched. They opened the season against New York, and I was in New York, and I watched it, and I couldn't believe that they had won and they had looked good. Yeah. Like they legitimately looked like they were having a good time playing basketball, and I was like, "Oh, this will be fun this season," but it wasn't.
Sydney, we can't talk like that.
Come on. Come on.
How long's it? Come on. We can't talk like that.
Right? Show compassion.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, so let's get to our flashback here. I thought this week, obviously, would be the perfect time to do this. So, obviously, the basketball world has lost the legend that is Bill Walton. 71 years young. I mentioned this. I did a pre-recorded interview for Late Night Reds with John Sadak that goes up on our Sunday show. And we talked about Bill Walton because John worked with him a little bit in the Pac-12. But I just wanted to make sure to take a time because I think where we're at now in the era and like Bill Walton, and we're all younger, obviously. So we didn't catch, 2-time MVP, NBA champion, 6th man of the year, Bill Walton. We got announcer and actor and philanthropist and peace activist, Bill Walton, which was the best Bill Walton. And he's a top 50 basketball player of all time, but we got the best Bill Walton. And just because, and like, I'm one that actually, I know a lot of people were annoyed that he didn't really talk basketball. I didn't care. He was so entertaining that he just made everything great. So he is kind of at that level where his legacy for different people is different things, whether it's the basketball player, whether it's, the commentator. I just listened to Road Trip and re-aired their podcast they did with him in 2017. And he is so funny, just telling stories about Richard Jefferson and Luke Walton when they were at Arizona together, and they had like bought a house in like Tempe when they were there, and they're in Tucson when they were in school, and it's just like rambles and rambles about it's like Cleveland's so great, Richard, and I'm here watching you and LeBron James play together, and you guys have all these amazing fans who are just going crazy every night, and that's a terrible Bill Walton impression, by the way.
I thought it was decent.
But I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
But he is the best.
I just think of the like floral shirts he'd wear like in the Pac-12 games, like covering them. That's what
he would do Maui. Oh my god, I would love what he would do Maui.
Oh my god. Yeah, he had such a great energy about him. He was just so full of life, and it wasn't just about basketball for him. I mean, he was a big deadhead. Like he's just one of those guys. And I loved when he was announcing games back in the 90s. He was so fun. And like, anytime he was on the mic, I was like, it was always a good night when he was on there. And, I wish they would have kept him on for a few more years after he ended up leaving. Cause I just, he was on so many nationally televised games for a long time, but like, he was so excited about everything. And wherever he was, it didn't matter where he was, what time it was, he was excited and happy to be someplace, which is like, that's just a great way to live. And I feel like everybody should try to live a little bit more like Bill Walton, man. He was just a cool dude.
Yeah. So in that podcast interview, there's like a really funny story where he's talking about when he would call Luke at Arizona, and he was like, Luke, I need you to send me some documents. I guess he would like call his son, and when he would leave a voicemail, like any old man would, he would still list his address on the voicemail, like send it to this address. It was their home address that, Luke Walton lived in that house. And on the podcast, he's like, I still live in this home. He literally is like, could you please send this to like, and he lists his address off on the podcast. Like, he's like, my wife and I have had this house forever. It's this, and he lists it like nonchalantly. But he talked about, he did this thing at the Staples Center. It was like a thing where there was like a bunch of like motivational speakers talking, It's when John Wooden was still alive. And I guess him and John Wooden were like kind of going back and forth, bantering and arguing, like goofing around, arguing, like because obviously they knew each other for so long. And I guess in front of 25,000 people at the Staples Center, Bill Walton was like, if you don't agree with John Wooden, he gave out his phone number right there on the thing. And John Wooden said it took 5 weeks for people to quit calling him.
God. Bill Walton, like he was and the crazy thing about him is like the guy had career 6,000 points and is considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time because of like 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and then
he
just
missed
got
9
hurt.
years.
And then he was the 6th man of the year with the Celtics after not playing for a while. He just came back and was 6th man of the year with the Celtics. My dad always talks about how good he was on the Celtics.
He was awesome.
Because my dad was a big Larry Bird Celtics fan back then. But yeah, like the guy barely played and it still has that big a legacy on basketball just for his playing career as well. So I mean that just tells you how good he was when he did play.
There was a couple years ago he did a baseball game. Have you seen this clip? It's the Angels and the White Sox, and Mike Trout hits a home run, and he's like, "Oh, that's Trout swimming around the bases with his enthusiasm and happiness as he hits a home run." It's like could have very well just been a baseball commentator, just like rambling like that. But yeah, Sydney says he's synonymous with the Pac-12. When they would send him to Maui to do the Maui Invitational, those games were on here at like 3, 4 in the afternoon. And you're like at the end of your work day, you're kind of tired. And then here comes Bill Walton telling you about how wonderful Hawaii is. And, like not once mentioning like Duke or Gonzaga who's playing in the game, but but you need to go out to Hawaii and check it out sometime. And he was the man. And like Parker said, so yeah, he's like listed in the top 50 and top 75 players of all time, and played like literally 6 years of NBA basketball because he
played like 400 games.
Yeah.
So I just read a fun fact about him that I did not know, and there's an actual picture to prove it. But he was an extra in Ghostbusters.
Really?
And he is in the background of the ending scene when they defeated Gozer and all the people are cheering, and there's an actual screenshot, and it's out of focus, but it's definitely him.
You want to try to share it real quick? I can put it on the screen for the YouTube.
Yeah, let me hold on a second here. I'll get it up here. Let's see.
Because we're way under time. For some reason, this has been my trend lately. I've been under time. It's a record.
Okay, here we go.
Timberwolves are down 29 at the half.
Oh, that's it? Anything's possible. I mean, we're
likes doing this in closeout games on the road. Just winning by 50.
Anything's possible. We're actually going to have an NBA draft this year for some reason. Like, anything's possible.
There he is.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And you can tell it's from the movie because that's like the ending scene right there. So that's pretty wild.
I was trying to think of. I know he's acted in other movies and stuff, but I just can't remember them off the top of my head. But regardless, R.I.P. to Bill Walton, the legend. Broadcast will never be the same. I miss you rambling about nothing, and your play-by-play man having to be like, and that's a 3 by LeBron in the corner, like over your conversations. It was they were the best. All right, folks. Well, as we're getting closer to the finals, obviously, that means we're kind of rolling on down here. So it's time to do a finals-themed draft this week for our starting 5. We're gonna go and do finals MVP winners, and it's pretty easy. You just pick your best 5 finals MVP winners. I feel like, I don't know. Is there any other way to explain that? So
I got Iguodala.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not drafting like these guys' careers. We're drafting who they were at that point, because you could definitely make the case. Not that I have the first. I don't know. I got to do the order. But you can make the case of like Kevin Durant being like one of the best finals players of all time for that 1 year he was finals MVP. 2 years he was finals MVP.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Sydney right here. He wasn't. He got game. I forgot about that.
Oh okay, yeah. I forgot he was in Uncle Drew too.
I forgot all about Uncle Drew.
Such a funny movie.
I can't believe we saw that movie in theaters together.
Yeah, opening weekend.
Yeah,
movie pass.
Yeah. Kyrie for Uncle Drew is such a cool shoe too. I miss Kyrie Nike so much.
I do too. His like anti-Kyrie logo is kind of sick though. I like
It is kind of dope. The shoe, I hate the shoe.
No, but like, have you seen his clothes? Like his like
Mhm.
stuff he wears pregame. Those are kind of sick. I like that.
Yeah,
His like warm-up shirts he'd be wearing and stuff.
I think we should just bring him back to Nike. It just needs to happen. All right,
100%.
let's see. Let's do the rounds here. Oh, whoop. Fun content we have here. All right. Parker. This is probably the part where I should have something else planned, but what do I know? All right, let's share the screen.
Also, we're actually going to see the screen. It's not just going to be you telling us who won the draft.
I'm not Nate Dotson, Sean.
It was me.
Yeah, it was like, all right, so here we go. Parker. Me. Look at that, Sean. You got first pick. How's that?
Oh, look at that. Look
Yeah.
at that. Woo.
I got the worst pick of the three, so there we go.
Yeah, we're doing a snake draft, right? So this
like
is
always.
all right. Well, I guess I have no choice, but I'm gonna pick 1996 Michael Jordan. I'm doing it.
Not
You
a
mean-
bad pick.
When
Come back.
He was only good when Gary Payton wasn't guarding him.
What? He wasn't scared of the glove. He laughed.
I know.
He laughed.
I just
He
like
laughed.
so I just like to play on the other side of like hating, like, everyone always finds a way to discredit people's championships. So I know
What a bum.
everyone thinks I'm gonna go with the LeBron pick here, but I'm not.
Okay.
2000 Shaquille O'Neal.
Nice.
Unbelievable in that series.
I agree.
Unbelievable.
All right. I'm gonna go with 2016 LeBron. I mean, especially the last 3 games.
Yeah.
The last 3 games, didn't he average like 3.5 blocks that series? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 2016 LeBron.
He had a triple double in the winner go home game in game 5.
Yeah. 41-point triple double. Yeah.
And Kyrie also had 41 in that game.
Yeah.
My favorite series ever. You know what, Sean? I actually listened recently. Do you remember we did that thing like in 2020 when we were just needing content? Well, like we took all 3 shows from the 48 Minutes feed and we did like a Cavs Warriors week.
I do remember that.
I listened to all 3 episodes recently and they were really good. The audio sucked, but because we
Sure.
were figuring out how to
Sure.
podcast during a pandemic, but
Sure.
the shows were really good.
Yeah.
All right, so Shark, you got another pick.
My next pick here, I'm gonna go with 1998 Last Dance MJ.
All
My
right,
shooting guard position.
perfect.
That's what I'll
So,
go with.
all right, give me then. Make sure I got the year right. 2013 Miami Heat LeBron.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. All right. Well, I am going to go with 1980 Magic Johnson.
Perfect.
Going to do it. And then I'm going to go right down to 1986 Larry Bird.
What position are you putting Magic at? That's very important when you talk about 1980.
I'm still going to put him at point guard.
Okay.
He's still going to be point. He's not he was
He's
only
not playing
center for a
center.
game. For one game, come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
literally. I agree.
All right. Well, I'm going to take 2021 Giannis, the best finals closeout game of all time.
Yep.
Yeah, not a bad pick.
Giannis, LeBron, and Shaq.
Dear
You need some
God.
shooting really bad.
That front court though, dear God.
I got to compete with Sean's Magic, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan somehow.
All right, so I get 2 picks here.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go. I'm trying to think who I want to go with. I'm gonna go with 2001 Shaq.
Okay.
I'm taking 2001 Shaq. I don't have much shooting right now either. Jordan, LeBron, and Shaq. I don't have much 3-point shooting. For my point guard, I'm gonna go 2022 Stephen Curry.
He was
Nice.
pretty awesome in that series.
Pretty
I'm gonna
awesome.
Go 2022 Stephen Curry. I was trying to think for a second. I was like, has he even won a Finals MVP? I was like, yeah, he just got one. He didn't have one before that.
Yeah, they were down 2-0 in that series and came back and won.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun series. especially because the Celtics lost. All right, I need to start looking up a few more now. All right, so I've got LeBron, Shaq, Giannis. Give me 1992 Michael Jordan.
Okay.
The 6 threes against the Blazers.
6 threes.
Unreal.
The unreal.
He
When
had
6 threes in a game was unreal.
Shrug.
He had some bum named Clyde Drexler guarding him. Like that guy.
Yeah.
That guy might as well have been a plumber.
The disrespect. Jesus.
All right, Sean,
All right.
round out your lineup.
All right, I'm
Next
rounding it out. I'm taking 2001 Shaq because everybody can have a Shaq. So
Did Parker take that
I
one or
took
2?
2001. I took
Oh,
01.
okay, then I'm taking 02. I'm taking old man Shaq.
There you go.
Taking old man Shaq. So I will take him. He's better than most centers ever, even though he's old man Shaq. And then for my final pick to round it out, what LeBron didn't we take, guys? We took 2016. Right?
2020
and
2013.
2012.
Yeah, 2020
No,
2012.
2012.
The bookend.
Who didn't take 2016 LeBron?
Parker
Oh,
did.
I did.
Oh, you
We're
already
saying
did. Okay.
2020 and 2012 are available.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'm gonna go with the Heatles first championship LeBron. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So
I would take that LeBron strictly for Game 6 against the Celtics.
yes.
Yeah.
Because that's up there. Like, I want to talk about something actually before we end out here. We had to have some sort of LeBron conversation, obviously. I tried not to, but I couldn't help myself. All right, I'm going to round out my team. Playing at point guard doesn't help with my stretching the floor, but my team's so big it doesn't matter. I'm going to go with the greatest shot blocking guard of all time, the 2006 NBA Finals
That's a good
MVP,
pick.
Dwayne Wade, because
Yeah. Oh,
for 2
so good.
weeks there was no one that could tell him anything. He
Yeah,
was
That's a
that
good.
good. In Converse, he was beating the Dallas Mavericks in Converse basketball sneakers. People,
pick.
wasn't Converse owned by Nike at that point?
it was
Though?
just about to merge because he signed with
Okay.
Jordan like a couple years later.
And then
Okay.
he went to Li Ning and basically started his own thing.
Yep.
For my final pick, I'm gonna go another player to help stretch the floor. I'm between 2 people, but I mean, honestly, like we talked about, 2017 Kevin Durant was unstoppable.
He was.
Like 2017 Kevin Durant might have been the best, just pure scorer I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like,
I
seriously.
would agree with that. I would
Not
agree
like
with that.
player, like there's been better players at their peak, but like just pure getting a bucket. That
Oh
Kevin
my
Durant-
gosh.
I
Like,
remember
incredible.
those games in 2017. All the games were very competitive in that series too, and they would Kevin Durant just did not miss. It felt like in that series. I used to get so. I remember the shot when they had Game 3-1, and he came down and hit that 3. Oh, I was defeated. Let me tell you, I was hurt when that happened, and yeah, that Kevin Durant was damn good. So I got Curry at point guard, Jordan at the 2. Oh, I got 2022 Curry, 98 Jordan at the 2, 2016 LeBron at the 3, 2017 Kevin Durant at the 4, and 2001 Shaq at the 5.
I think I came in 3rd place in this draft, guys. I really think I did. I think you guys beat me.
Who do you have?
Yeah.
So 06 Wade, 92
Okay.
Jordan, 2013 LeBron, 2021 Giannis, and 2000 Shaq.
So I had.
The only problem with your team is shooting.
Yeah,
You better hope
so-
you're playing in the 90s.
sure are.
So
We're
I
gonna play
had
5 out in
2000,
this bitch.
2002 Shaq.
Mhm.
I had 96 Jordan. I had 2012 LeBron, 1986 Larry Bird, and 1980 Magic Johnson. Not bad.
I think Sean won.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Sean won.
I think
Yeah.
you won.
I think I figured it out this time, guys.
Look at you.
Took like 40 weeks, but I got it finally.
Hey, how did none of us take Bill Walton?
I know. What dicks? We
Yeah,
put this whole
literally.
tribute
What a
segment.
Disrespectful.
Yeah,
That was disrespectful. One of us should have taken Bill Walton there.
we just had this whole tribute segment. We didn't even bother taking his NBA title in Portland. So one of the stories I was going to tell earlier, with your dad talking about the Celtics. So there was one Eastern Conference Finals. There's the clips all over the place. You can find it. Bird hits a buzzer beater. I think it might have been they were playing the Pistons. It wasn't the Steele series, like the Isaiah Thomas Steele, but like Bird's getting interviewed in the post game, and you just see Bill Walton come in the back, and he's like, "Larry Bird, Larry Bird, Larry Bird." That's all he says over and over again. So we brought up all these different LeBrons. I was listening to something recently where I was like, Windhorse was talking about, and obviously, if anyone knows him, it's him. Where he said he could make the case now that the 25 straight points against the Pistons is not even a top 10 LeBron game of all time. And I was like, wait a minute. And I thought about it, and I was like, you might be right, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the 51-point game 1 of the finals is better
Best
than that,
game.
even though they lost.
That's like the best
Celtics
game I ever
game,
saw anyone play.
Game 6 against the Celtics.
That's 2.
Game 7 against the Warriors. Game 5 against the Warriors.
09 against the Magic.
Yeah, the game where he hit the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We're not even counting. We're just counting playoff games there. I mean,
if we're just counting playoff, I mean, the 62 points versus the Hornets.
on the mask.
Yeah, with the mask on.
Yeah.
No, it probably isn't, honestly. Like, even, because then, I mean, I could name more playoff games, too. Like, even closeout finals games are better than that, honestly. Like,
yeah, we didn't mention
game 7 against the Spurs. He had 35, I believe, or 37, one of the two. The game that closed it out, he was awesome in that game. He hit the game-winning shot too, or game-sealing shot.
Game 6 in 2020 when he's like, Butler just beat us really bad the night before.
And then
I'm
they
not letting
won
that
by
happen
40.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he guarded Butler the whole game.
Yeah.
That would be a fantastic conversation. Just like going through guys like all-time best games. Like we just went through that. Like trying to name the 10 greatest Michael Jordan games would be nearly impossible too. Like there's just so many. Obviously, the 69 against the Celtics is one
The
people are
double
going to bring
nickel
up.
versus the Knicks.
Yeah. I wouldn't say 98 was one of his best games when he hit this shot. I just think it was the best moment almost of all time. I think
Did he push off?
Yeah, he for sure did.
I always think it's funny when people like start arguing about that 26 years later now. Like if he pushed off or not. It's like, who cares if he pushed off? It happened.
Honestly,
they didn't call it.
The flu game is better than anything he did in that series. The flu game, he was unbelievable.
Did he have the flu though?
I don't care. If we're gonna call it the flu game, we're gonna call it the flu.
Was he hungover or did he have the flu?
City says 10 best MJ games when he was a Wizard. This is possible. He had some great Wizards games. I know people laugh about that run.
He had a duel versus Kobe, I remember. I've seen
a duel versus Kobe.
Game.
He had a 55-point game against the Knicks with the Wizards also. Because he had 4 points the night before, and of course, people started saying he was done. And to quote Michael Jordan, and I took that personally. That would be it. So I think Durant would probably be pretty easy. Durant and Curry, their 10 best games would be pretty easy. Durant, that 2012 game against the Spurs when he eliminated them.
Here, I have a hot take real quick, I'll say, before we get off here. I don't think the gap between Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry is all-time is as big as – I think Kevin Durant gets disrespected in the all-time rankings. I think him and – like, he has had a more impressive career in terms of his personal accolades than Steph Curry has. And like, he has way more first-team All-NBAs, way more All-NBA teams, way more points. Like, he's going to be the second all-time league scorer likely when he retires.
Yeah.
Maybe third. He was the best player when they won titles together. I don't understand why it's clear cut that he ranks ahead of Kevin Durant. I don't understand that.
Oh, I wouldn't rank.
Kevin Durant has been a better player. I know that Stephen Curry like has stuck with one team and Kevin Durant just switches teams every time. I get that.
That's what it is.
He's still a better player than Stephen Curry.
I think at some point you got to throw that out the window, right? No one discredits Julius Erving for winning multiple Finals MVPs with multiple teams, or Kareem. No one ever discredits those guys for that.
It's just Kevin Durant. It's happened more often.
Right.
And it's probably going to happen again.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
Sure it is. But your exact point is my whole thing when like people try to say like Kobe was the best player of the 2000s. He was one of them. But, I mean, can we just give Tim Duncan some more love? Because same amount of titles, less finals losses, more MVPs, more finals MVPs. Like...
Yeah, the only thing Curry has on Durant is he has 2 more titles, but also Durant has more finals MVPs. and he has one more MVP. But Kevin Durant finished top 3 in MVP probably like 7 times.
Yeah.
So, like he's a 8-time first team All NBA. Curry's 4.
Yeah.
Like that says something. He's been a lot better for a lot longer time. Is what I'm saying. Like it's not even been close for their longevity of how long they've been that good.
Yeah. So Sydney says KD's the second best player of her lifetime. She was born in 2000. That's rational.
Yeah, so she's like my age then.
Yeah. So, she saw, like for Sean and I, that conversation gets much deeper because we're our ages.
See, I'd still say Kobe's the second best player I've ever seen. Because like I've seen prime Kobe. For my age, I've seen prime Kobe, seen prime Tim Duncan, kind of prime Tim Duncan, and then prime LeBron, obviously, and Kevin Durant, Curry, all those guys. I'd say it's Kobe and LeBron are the 2 best players I've ever seen. Because I didn't see prime Shaq, so I don't know.
That's true.
I didn't see prime Shaq. Like
that
I was born.
Different.
I was born the year they won their last title for the Lakers. So the Shaq I remember is 2008, 09 Phoenix, Steve
Cleveland.
Nash Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember like actual Shaq.
Dude, all right. If you ever.
I've watched his highlights a ton, but I just never saw him play.
So this is the game why I always discredit Kobe Bryant. Because if we're going to hold JJ Barea in the Mavericks against LeBron, then we 1,000% need to hold the Pistons series against Kobe Bryant. So Game 4, Shaq has 44 points and I think 18 rebounds.
Oof.
Kobe shoots 6 of 24 in that game and they get smoked.
Yep.
Isn't that what he shot in the game 7 2 versus Celtics when he won?
Oh yeah, he did.
6 of 24. I believe he was 6 of 24.
Yeah.
That's what I believe he was.
And he's like, they go like cross half court and he doesn't give Shaq the ball and he just starts jacking shots up. And it's like, it cost him that game, which ended up costing the series. The Pistons were better anyway, but that's a conversation for another time. All right, Sean, well, you had the first pick. So that means you get to pick the next draft.
Next draft. Okay. Well, we're going to be going into finals week next week. We've already taken the finals MVP draft off. So that hurts me already. Let's go. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. All right, how about we do? I'm gonna throw. This is a weird one. I don't know if we can do it or not, but non-dynasty NBA Finals winners.
Okay, so teams that just won once.
Just won once. Weren't a dynasty.
Okay.
So you're talking like. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the
teams
like
that didn't win too.
The Toronto Raptors kind of teams, like
yes.
The 2020 Lakers, the Nuggets are teams like that right now.
Well, stop giving me all the ideas, guys. All right.
That's why you make your draft, because you cater it to your advantage. That's the point of it.
All right.
Yeah, do the Spurs count then? Does that count?
I would count 99.
Or the 99, yeah. I was about to say.
Yeah, I would count 99 because they didn't win again until 03.
Yep.
Totally
different team at that point.
2014 should count then too.
Yeah, you're right.
That was a 7-year gap between those.
Yep.
Sydney put a great one in the chat already that I'm not going to share because we got to do the show next week.
It's weird because I kind of think of that team as like a dynasty because they were in it every year, but they only won one. So yeah.
Yeah, but they were so freaking fun.
Yeah.
So freaking fun. All right, folks. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of NBA Happy Hour. Thank you guys as always for hanging out with us. We definitely appreciate it. As always, if you are checking us out here on the Riverfront for the first time on YouTube, take a second to subscribe and also like this channel, like this video. It would be greatly appreciated as we try to fight Algae Rhythm from Space Jam: A New Generation. Be sure to go to your podcast app of choice and give us a nice solid subscription. And if you're there, a 5-star review doesn't hurt either. Not a 4-star or anything less, just 5-star. You can check us out on all of our shows here on the Riverfront Red Show. You have 3 shows a week. Couple fun episodes coming up. Myself on Late Night Reds on Sunday night. My recorded interview with John Sadak is going to be up. And then on Tuesday on Red Leg Roundtable, Seth Shanderhead and Marty Brenneman. So Marty stopped by the Riverfront last week to
Nice.
chat with us. So he's gonna be on as well. You can check out Parker and Joe on Welcome to the Jungle, where they talk about the Bengals. I guess they didn't do it this week, but that's okay.
There's not much to talk about right now. I think we're taking a little break.
Yeah, how many more times can you say T. Higgins is not going to camp? I know it's
it's that or like when will we trade T. Higgins? Will we trade T. Higgins?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So all that and a whole lot more here at the Riverfront. Everyone, thank you so much for checking us out. On behalf of Sean and Parker, this is Tim Daniel. Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.